Hey guys, it's Chris from Highline Guitars, and here's this week's quick tip for luthiers. How do you get a high gloss mirror-like shine without all the distortions in the surface? Well, obviously that starts with the technique you use for level sanding the surface. And it doesn't matter whether you're dry sanding or wet sanding. There is a technique that I like to use that really works to help assure a distortion-free mirror-like shine. And that is, let's say I'm going to start out level sanding at about a P800. I'll then follow up with a P1000, a P1500, and then I'll finish with a P2000. Then I go to the buffer and buff it up to a high gloss shine. However, what you can also do is, just before you get to that last grit, the P2000, right after you finish with the P1500, go ahead and do a quick buff. Bring up the shine on the surface. It shouldn't be too difficult to do. It's not going to be the most perfect shine, but it's going to be close. And then what you can do is finish your level sanding with that P2000. And what's going to happen is as you're sanding, you're going to be getting rid of that shine and replacing it once again with that kind of a matte surface sheen. But as you sand, clean off the area that you're working in and check it against a bright light at a low angle. You'll see the surface is pretty it's mostly a matte. It's not as shiny as the parts that you buffed. But what you may notice is in those areas that you're working in, there are some shinier spots. And that means the surface still isn't perfectly level. Even though you thought it was level at 800, it still isn't perfectly level. Putting a preliminary buff and then final level sanding with the P2000 is going to help to assure that you get that surface as level and as smooth and consistent as possible, so that when you do the final buff, you're going to see those reflections without distortion. So that's the technique I use. Level sand up to about a P1500, do an initial buff, then do the final level sanding with a P2000 before doing your final high gloss buff. So that's this week's quick tip for luthiers. Until the next episode, take care and we'll see you soon.